interesting because for me, the kind of sharpest learning curve was in post, because obviously I spent half my life on set. I had a certain amount of experience with pre-production, but for me, learning to truly embrace evolution in the edit process, to understand that your film will be an entirely different film than the one you set out to make, and to embrace that fully. You know, our film has a completely different opening shot than I thought it would have. It has a completely, there's chunks taken out of the middle, parts of the second act that I thought were essential, that then when I put it all together, realized we didn't need. You know, we had a true embarrassment of riches. I think that's what most directors find when they get into the edit. It's like, wow, I have to make tough choices here. I think if I learned anything for the next time, it's just to give myself the kind of the time necessary to allow for that evolution, and also to ask for a longer sound mix. You always want a longer sound mix. It's good tangible advice for directors. Longer in your sound mix.
Is it easier or harder for actors to control that mix these days than in the past? Because it seems like more and more actors are making that jump, and that's still.
It's so interesting. She asked why are actors making the jump to directing more often these days. I think it's because there's more and more channels for content. There's more different types of, I guess, distribution. I feel like there's just a flood of content that has the opportunity to be made, and people who didn't consider themselves sort of logical, didn't consider themselves directors, are now finding that there's an opportunity there for them. I feel that studios are taking risks on new talent. Anna Perna certainly took a risk on me. So that's where it starts. It starts with, you know, the studios themselves giving opportunities to new filmmakers, but I think actors are feeling inspired by each other as well. I mean, I'm certainly inspired by Greta Gerwig. I'm certainly inspired by, you know, Jonah Hill, Bradley Cooper. A lot of my peers who I've been working with for years directing films, it feels like we're all stepping into our own and saying, hang on, we know a lot about this process. What would happen if we took over?
Is it also about career control?
I think career control, yeah, certainly for me as an actress, I thought, what if I could create the set I always wanted to work on? What if I could sort of design the environment that I think is most conducive to the best work? And I think particularly working with young actresses, I wanted to make them feel nurtured and supported and comforted and kind of lifted up in the way that I think a lot of actresses haven't felt on sets, because they haven't always been the most healthy environments for young women.
Why was Booksmart the right vehicle to make you directorial?
I think Booksmart was the right vehicle for my debut because it represents the types of movies that I always wanted to make, that movies that made me want to be in the business. You know, watching films, like all of John Hughes' films, particularly Breakfast Club, that's a movie that made me want to be an actor. And same with Dazed and Confused, same with Fast Times, same with Clueless. These are movies that made me want to be in the business. So it's only logical that that's where I would begin as a filmmaker.
2 more questions, guys.
What was something that you thought, I would never do that as a director, and then you did it?
Something that I never thought I'd do as a director and then I did. That's a really good question, but I don't know if there is anything. Maybe if I'll think deeply about it, but I really thought carefully about what kind of director I wanted to be. I learned lessons from every single director I've worked for. Lessons from Scorsese, from Spike Jonze, from Reed Moreno, from all the directors that I love so much. I kind of gleaned lessons and then used all of them. So hopefully I was the type of director I wanted to be based on the great lessons from people I've worked for.
Last question.
I was going to say, how easy was it to get the actresses that you wanted to play the characters, and how did they exceed your expectations, bringing them to life?
Oh, I mean, in terms of casting, I really got lucky. I wanted, I had Beanie Feldstein and Caitlin Dever on my kind of Booksmart vision board for a long time before they ever knew about the project, and I was incredibly lucky that I was working for a studio that supported my casting ideas. I also had the best casting director in the business, who's Allison Jones, who has defined generations of comedy by casting everything from The Office to Freaks and Geeks, you know, to Superbad. So I was able to find a lot of new talent. I mean, the 2 lead actresses were my dream actresses for the roles, and I was able to convince them to do it. Caitlin actually had been attached to the project before, and I convinced her to stay on with me on board, and then B. Feldstein was just my dream Molly, and I was just so adamant that she'd be the one, and I'm so lucky that she was. And the rest of the cast, some of them have never been in front of a camera. We have 2 pro skateboarders in the film who've never been in front of a camera, but I was able to use my experience as an actress to work with them. I spoke the same language. Even though they each speak very different individual languages, we all speak this kind of universal language of performance and acting, and I was able to tap into the brilliance they all naturally had.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.